13 wild plants to forage this winter for the ultimate sustainable lifestyle. Forget those mighty green smoothies you find in the fancy shops. There's a way to eat healthily as well as sustainably, perfect for vegan living too, and it won't cost a penny. There are dozens of woodland parks across London and beyond where people can go and forage for wild food as well as berries to flavor drinks such as sloe gin, beer, ale and gilly tea. Kenneth, one of the wild food experts at Tower Hamlets Cemetery Park, explained to metro.co.uk, wild food isn't going to replace your weekly shop, but what it does do is interacting with your open spaces in a different way, thinking about recipes and cooking and where ingredients come from and how wild food can be a substitute for certain ingredients. But also thinking about our temperate climate and the seasons and how different things can be available at different times of the year, so it can be quite exciting visiting different parks. It gets us doing things that people don't do anymore, looking at pickling and preserving. Foraging does of course come with a word of warning. If you have a slight uncertainty about something in your mind, don't eat it. Here are 13 plants you can forage and eat in the wild. Sweet violet grows on the woodland floor and is good to eat all year round. The lighter green leaves at the top of the plant are better to eat in the autumn, while in the springtime the purple flowers are great in a salad. There is a mild nuttiness to the flavor, which is great in salads or in a cheese sandwich. For those that don't like the furriness on the leaves, you can use a vinaigrette to soften that. Oh yeah, and make sure you give it a wash first because it does grow at leg cocking height. Jack by the hedge, also known as poor man's garlic, can be identified by several leaves coming out from one point. You'll need to dig all around the root of the plant and put the hand trowel in as deep as you can to pluck the root from the ground. Once you've done that, get your hand around it and give it a shake. Give it a wash, leg cocking height remember, and eat the leaves and shoot. Jack by the hedge is best eaten in the autumn when there is a good store of sugars in the root. You can use the root as a radish substitute, and you can use the leaves instead of onions. It's not quite as hot as a radish but has a sharp, hot flavor. Honesty is a member of the cabbage family, which has a radish flavor in the root. You can chop the root of the plant up, cook with it and also eat it fresh. Just make sure when picking you are picking it from an area where lots of honesty grows to ensure you are picking the correct plant. Don't bother eating honesty in the springtime as it will have used up all of its sugary stores in the root, making it pretty woody inside. This is a plant you can dig up sustainably, pick the roots and rebury the plant. The root can be used as an alternative to cloves as a spice in mulled wine, whiskey and when making sloe gin at home. The roots of wood avens are typically quite small and stringy, with the really wide roots being the best to use. People also used to wear wood avens on their jacket lapels in the old times to ward off evil spirits. Be careful with this one and make sure you are picking cow parsley rather than the similar looking but deadly alternative hemlock. Both are in the carrot family, but cow parsley flowers in April while hemlock flowers in the depths of summer like June and July and looks like boiled rice. Also, make sure when picking that the cow parsley doesn't have any mottling or spotting on the stem like a giraffe, as this is hemlock. You can use cow parsley leaves in a salad in the autumn instead of an iceberg lettuce or rocket. These can be identified by the white flowers on what looks similar to a stinging nettle. White dead nettles produce a flower that is pollinated by bees and is easily identifiable because the plant does not sting you when you touch it. It is simply a mimic. Not only can you eat the leaves of dead nettles, but you can pluck the flowers and drink the nectar. All you do is suck the trumpet part of the flower to get a little hit of nectar. The leaves of dead nettles are perfect in a salad. They can be a bit furry, but if you use a vinaigrette this should soften them up. There's a knack to eating raw nettles without getting stung. It has the same technique to picking them. What you need to do is clasp the nettle firmly. The way the stings work is by brushing up against something and releasing their sting through tiny hypodermic needles. Either way the sting only lasts 30 minutes. We're lucky in England because there's a stinging nettle tree in Java that causes lockjaw and death, and in Australia there's a tree that can still sting you even if it is dead, and years after the initial sting you can have recurrences of the sting. If you do get stung, don't bother with stock leaves, as this only gives a placebo effect, but instead, rather ironically, use the juice inside the stems of a stinging nettle on the sting. That's because it contains a natural antihistamine. Stinging nettle stings are actually used by people with arthritis to help relieve the symptoms. People also used stinging nettles to make themselves feel warmer, but it probably wasn't a good idea, as it brings the blood to the surface and makes you colder instead because all the vessels come up to the top. How to eat stinging nettles. Raw. To eat the stinging nettle without getting stung, you get a leaf and fold in the sides inward. Then roll from the base of the leaf into a parcel. As you do so, be firm and bruise the plant to deactivate the stings. It tastes just like fresh runner beans. Cook like spinach, or you can brew it and make it into a tea. Any bashing of the plant, cooking or bruising kills the stings. To make a stinging nettle soup, all you need is potato, stock and stinging nettles. Use about a bulging handful per person, as it does cook down like spinach. This grows a bit like ivy with runners along the floor, but is a member of the mint family. It used to be brewed to make gilly tea, and before hops became popular in the brewing industry, it was used as one of the hedgerow herbs to flavor beers and ales. Ground ivy has a distinctive smell, a bit minty. Almost a bit like a geranium-type smell. This flowers in the summer and you can eat the leaves. If you pick some of the seeds off and roll them in your fingers, they have a carroty medicinal smell to them. It isn't really to eat, but they smell nice. Sloe berries grow on blackthorn trees and are great for making sloe gin. They are members of the plum family and can be identified by leaves that grow on the thorns. They also have dark purple berries and plum-like leaves. Hawthorn meanwhile doesn't have leaves growing on the thorns and have reddish berries. The leaves are a lot more lobed. Juniper is one of Britain's native evergreens. There are female and male juniper bushes, and it is only the female that have the berries. Juniper berries take a good 18 months to ripen, so picking the best ones is important. You'll need the black berries rather than the green ones. The berries are held on very gently, so you need to be careful when picking them. Juniper berries are great for making gin, but can also be used in a little bag for flavoring other dishes. It is particularly good for lamb or beef casseroles. Junipers are actually very sticky and oily when you squish them in your fingers. This oil content is great for transferring the flavor into the gin. These are a deep red, almost woody color, and are bulb-shaped. They are the seed pods of roses and are packed full with vitamin C. Some people also think they are very good for treating arthritis, and they can be made into a rosehip jelly. They are also very expensive to buy in the shops, so if you can forage them free, then that's incentive enough. Three-cornered garlic has a pungent smell from a good few feet away and grows in vast clumps. If you find this growing in your garden, it's worth trying to fence it in to stop it spreading everywhere, as it grows really well. It's similar looking to a spring onion and just as tasty. 1. Holly berries. They'll make you ill. Watch out for children eating them. 2. Lords and ladies. These have stripes on the leaves and the berries. In the early summer it has bright berries, which cause asphyxiation if eaten. It is called lords and ladies as the berries are on a phallic stalk, with the ladies as the berries. Another name is monk's pintle, or priest in the pulpit. The flower meanwhile sits close to the ground and is inconspicuous. This plant smells of feces and imitates a pile of poo to appeal to insects. They then enter the plant and pollinate it. However, you can only smell the feces if they have a gene for it, others don't smell anything. More, the 8 best vegan restaurants in Birmingham. More, the UK's first fully vegan pizzeria is finally coming to London.